Hey, what's going on guys, Khrase here, welcome back to another Ghost of Tsushima video, and today we're gonna take a look at 3 brand new and really insane builds that you can create thanks to the new items added in Iki Island. And I'm not gonna lie, these are probably gonna be some of the best you can create right now. They really change the way you play in some cases, and you're probably gonna have a lot more fun with some of the new builds that I will show you in this video. As always, a thumbs up on it would be super helpful, and let's jump right into it. Now, we will start things off with pretty much my favorite build right now in the game, the one that changes the way you play completely, and I would also argue probably the best right now that we have in Ghost of Tsushima overall, at least if you build it the way I will just show you. So this is gonna be using the Sarugami armor that was added in the Iki Island expansion, which is also the one that adds some brand new functionalities, specifically that perk right there at the top. Regular parry is disabled, but perfect parry becomes a chain of 3 attacks, and perfect dodge becomes an attack that blinds enemies. So to make up for the downside, which is the removal of the parry entirely, we're gonna extend the windows for the perfect parries and the perfect dodges for way higher, to the point that you kinda have to do it on purpose to even get hit by enemies. And there's 2 major charms that achieve this. The first one is already in the game, it's called the charm of Mitsunokami, and it essentially extends the windows on everything, on parries, perfect parries, and especially the perfect dodges. So these will become easier to perform. The second one is the new monkey charm called Charm of Mashira's Protection. Whenever you heal, you're gonna get an extension on the perfect parry and perfect dodge windows, but also your healing will cost 1 additional resolve. Do not worry, we're gonna fix that as well with the other charms. But essentially, this is what makes this build so powerful. You're going to constantly try to concentrate to either parry enemy attacks or dodge them, so that you can immediately follow up with the brand new and way more powerful attacks. If you parry an incoming attack, this will put you in a state similar to the Dance of Wrath. You're gonna be able to follow up with these mini teleports that deal super high damage and also completely break enemy defenses. As a matter of fact, this attack is so powerful that it completely trivializes some of the duels even on the hard or lethal difficulty, as you're essentially dealing both really high damage and also breaking enemy defenses in just a few hits. So not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this one, and whenever you feel you're in trouble or can't dodge enough, just pop a heal and the windows on that is extended, so it's like super easy to perform it and then follow up with these attacks. Now from this point on, it's just a matter of buffing up the already existing damage and resolve gains. That's why I'm using a charm of Inari's Might to increase my health and melee damage by a massive amount. And between that and the charm of Ferocity, which also increases my melee damage by a little bit more, it takes no more than 2 hits to take down even some of the higher, tougher brutes that might take a lot more to get down. The final 2 charms right here at the bottom pretty much deal with the resolve gains, since we're gonna have to make up for the additional cost of our healing. So one of them is the charm of Silence. It also gives me that detection speed reduction by 15%, but it's mostly there for the resolve gains by a massive amount. And then I coupled that with a charm of Resolve 2 to increase that resolve gain by another 25%. Essentially, any action that I perform with this build, including dodging, parrying, even killing enemies, will give me a lot more resolve back that I can further funnel back into my heals that further increase the windows of opportunity to perfect dodge and perfect parry. This of course brings us to the second build, and as I've said in one of the previous videos, we finally get a complete Tadayori build for this set, because Tadayori was always kinda lacking a major charm to just bring it to the next level. It was always good, but there was something missing in the major charm department. Well, that is no longer the case, ladies and gents, thanks to the brand new added charm of Sugaru's Sight that you get from just completing those deer shrines. So essentially, for the first time ever, you're gonna be able to take down multiple enemies at the same time, as now you can shoot up to 3 arrows at once if you have enough ammo. By the way, I fully suggest to go ahead and upgrade this by finding all of the deer shrines, so that it takes only 1.75 seconds to lock onto targets' heads. By the way, to shoot these 3 arrows, you actually have to select the multi-shots that were newly added for the longbow and the short bow. For the longbow, actually both of the new multi-shots aim for the head directly, including the piercing multi-shot and the explosive multi-shot. Meanwhile, for the short bow, for some reason only the flaming arrow multi-shot seems to be aiming for the head, Meanwhile, the regular ones only aim for the middle of the body, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna be using the first 3 since they aim straight for the head. And this just further enhances the already existing build for Tadayori, especially since we were already using the charm of Izanagi in the second major slot. Landing headshots has a 40% chance to return an arrow. We buffed that, by the way, with 2 charms of fortune to make it 80% chance for headshots to return an arrow, so almost guaranteed. This means that if you aim for 3 heads, for example, you're going to hit them and get 3 arrows back immediately, essentially meaning that you never have to recharge again, or almost never have to recharge again, but still deal high damage against multiple targets at the same time. Now, the Charm of Concentration is the other major addition to the new build, and this one right here has been fully upgraded so that it extends my concentration time by a full 2.4 seconds. By the way, to have this long of a concentration time on it, you will have to extend its duration just completing those archery challenges. I believe that there's 7 or 8 of them in total on the map, and at the end of it, you're going to get a 2.4 seconds concentration duration with the Charm of Concentration. And by the way, this fully couples with the default perk on Tadayori that already gives you another 2 seconds to that, so almost 4.5 seconds in total uninterrupted concentration, which means like a really long time to slow down and take down almost any group of enemies, maybe even multiple at the same time. And I mean, you even have enough time to go ahead and grab a drink if you want to. That's how long it lasts. The final one that I added with this build is just the Charm of Swift Return. I just found that this works really well with this build. In case you miss any standard arrows, or if they don't hit like the headshots, you have a 25% chance of recovering them, but because we have 2 charms of fortune, that chance is now 50%. So you might even get a lot more arrows back than you're actually spending with this build like last year, but now you also have the AoE damage on it as well. And this brings us to the final build on the list, which is not really a build because it doesn't change too much. The Ghost Armor still kind of plays the same, but because of a brand new charm added that you get from one of those sparring tournaments, you can kind of mix a little bit more to it and add a lot more utility charms and minor charms that might help you a little bit more in combat. This one is called the Charm of Versatile Skills, and it doubles the effect of the minor charms if it is the only minor charm at the same category equipped. So this means you can't have 2 of the same charms, otherwise this effect won't stack. But this opens up enough room for you to stack, like for example a Charm of Fortune, double its effect, and then have like another free slot to go in and place another minor charm instead. So previously, if I wanted to, for example, double my chances of something happening, or if I wanted to double my damage of certain weapons, I would have to occupy 2 slots. With this one, I only have to occupy 1. It doubles the damage and it still gives me room for another 2 minors right here, which is why I also went with another Charm of Silence. It reduces enemy detection by 15% and it increases my resolve gains, and all of that is doubled by that effect. And I don't even have 2 Charms of Silence. There's not 2 Charms of Silence in the game that you can get, only 1, and this one doubles it. And the same goes with the Charm of Fortitude. Now I have a 40% chance to survive lethal damage and gain resolve. It essentially means that this is now the perfect Ghost Armor build. You're unkillable, you're undetectable, you deal a lot more damage with the ghost weapons, and you still equip and have the same functionality as ever before, just with a lot more edge. All in all, I really enjoyed the new IKI Island expansion. They added so many new cool functionalities and like new ways to play existing builds that I think that this is one of the best additions to the game yet. This is it though. Let me know down below which is your favorite build that I showed today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.